Good morning, everybody. Today we are here in Branson, Missouri, and we're right next to the Ripley's, believe it or not, and we're going to be checking out the Ripley's mobile military marvels here. As you can see in the background, we got some awesome old military vehicles. So cool to come down here and check out. And also, leave a comment down below if you've ever driven any of these vehicles that you see in this video today. So, should be a great time. And as always, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. It's free to do. With that, let's get this video started. All right, here we are starting with the M5 high-speed tractor right here. Look at this guy. These old military vehicles are pretty awesome. I don't know if I can lift up the camera enough to see inside, but these things have been sitting out here for years and years and years, so but pretty cool. Right there is the M5 high-speed tractor, and up next we got the Class 110 crash truck here. Look at this guy. Yeah, you can definitely tell these guys have been sitting out here a while. But they do have some plaques here that also give information on the vehicles as well. So right here, first up is the M5 high-speed tractor artillery transport. The M5 is a full track vehicle designed to tow the 105 millimeter howitzer M2 and the 155 millimeter long tom field artillery and carried the gun crew and ammunition. A winch and roller system allowed the M5 to pull vehicles to the front or rear. Pretty cool. And then here we got the Chevy crash truck right here. It says it's the Class 110 airfield crash truck. The Class 110 truck was manufactured by the Chevy Motor Division of General Motors with the firefighting equipment body added after manufacture. The Class 100 and 110 crash trucks were the first standard crash fire units developed for airfield use. During World War II, Chevrolet plants also produced shells, gun parts, and aircraft engines, believe it or not. That is cool. I do apologize for any wind noise. It didn't look like it was going to be windy today, but as soon as I got here, the wind is definitely blowing. Here we got the M561 Gamma Goat. The M561 was a diesel-powered, six-wheel drive, articulating chassis, commonly known as the Gamma Goat. The Goat was designed to negotiate the rough terrain found in Southeast Asia during the Vietnam War when the M37 four-wheel cargo truck proved inadequate. Here we got the M3 half-track right here. It's got the wheels on the front, and then it's got tracks on the back. Another cool track vehicle. I don't know if I can lift the camera up high enough to see anything inside, but there's a little look at whatever I'm getting up there. But man, look at the clouds too. I'm not sure if we're supposed to get any rain today, but it's definitely a cloudy day. And then, so that's the half track right there. And then this guy is the M59 Armored Personnel Carrier. The M59 was a U.S. Armored Personnel Carrier that entered service in the spring of 1954, replacing the M75. It had three key advantages over the M75. It was amphibious, had a lower profile, and was considerably cheaper to produce. Believe it or not, approximately 6,300 were built before production ended in 1960. So this guy was amphibious. That is cool. And then some information on the half-track. One of the world's first armored personnel carriers was the U.S. Army's half-track. Half-wheeled, half-track. The half-track saw service around the world. Its sides were lightly armored for protection against shell fragments. A back door provided easy entry and exit. So cool. And then right over here on the side is we got the GMC M220 shop van. The M220 is part of the M135 series of 2.5-ton cargo trucks, which were the first successor to the World War II Deuce and a Half. That was the backbone of mobility throughout all theaters of that war. Believe it or not, the M135 platform was one of the most versatile made, letting the military install pretty much whatever type of equipment on it that they needed. So cool. Here we got the awesome LVT-4 Water Buffalo. Look at the size of this thing. I don't know if the camera really picks up how big this thing is. It's got to be 8 feet tall, maybe. It is huge. If I were to stand next to it, it'd be taller than me. And I'm only about 6'2", so that thing is cool. The Water Buffalo. And then we got the M56 Scorpion right here. Check that guy out. That guy is cool. And then the M43 Dodge Ambulance right here. The Dodge M43 is the ambulance version of the M37 cargo truck. Built on almost the same chassis, this ambulance saw action worldwide besides its M37 counterpart. Believe it or not, Dodge produced the M43 ambulance from January 1951 to July 1954, with a few delivered after that date. And then the Scorpion right here, the M56 Scorpion, is an American unarmored airmobile self-propelled tank destroyer armed with a 90mm M54 gun with a simple blast shield and an unprotected crew compartment. Believe it or not, the M56 was manufactured from 1953 to 1959 by the Cadillac Motor Car Division of General Motors. And then the Water Buffalo right here, as I don't think I said it, but is an amphibious warfare vehicle and amphibious landing craft introduced by the United States Navy and United States Marine Corps. The LVT-4 was designed in 1943 and was based on the previous LVT-2. It was the first to feature a rear ramp for the unloading of personnel and cargo. The LVT-4 was the most produced LVT in any war, believe it or not. Check those guys out. Those are cool. Oh, up next is the M29 Weasel. This one I can show you the kind of the inside of. This one's small enough. Not much to them though. Like I said, they've been sitting out here for years. Does still have some gauges. I don't remember this compartment being open at all, but see the little wiring there. I'm assuming this got some controls here. This must have been where the driver would sit right here. But yeah, the M29 Weasel right here. Way cool. The idea for the Weasel came from the work of British inventor Geoffrey Pike. In November 1944, USMC distributed M29s to the 3rd, 4th, and 5th Marine Divisions. And this guy is the Duckling trailer right here. Probably take quite the vehicle to tow this guy. The WCTC-6 Duckling trailer right here. Oh, this guy was an amphibious trailer, effectively known as the Duckling. Was made for use with the landing vehicle, tracked LVT, and the DUKW amphibious truck. It has a 4.5-ton capacity with its 245 cubic foot cargo box. And check this guy out. This is the M76 Otter right here. This guy is cool looking. Designed by the Pontiac Motor Division in the early 1950s as the T46. This vehicle began life as the intended replacement for the Studebaker M29 Weasel. This amphibious cargo carrier was designed to carry cargo or up to 8 troops over shallow rivers and swampy terrains, and would become the M76, also known as the Otter. That guy is cool. The M76 was almost entirely an aluminum construction. This made the vehicle extremely light, but also made it vulnerable to enemy fire, believe it or not. So cool. I do got to get this awesome recycled metal bald eagle here. This giant bald eagle weighs over 2,000 pounds and is made entirely from recycled scrap metal pieces from old cars. Check that out. That's actually a really cool shot there with the Ripley's Believe It or Not sign there, and then the Ferris wheel, Branson Ferris wheel across the road there. Pretty cool shot there. And then we got the Willys Jeep over here. The Jeep legend began in November 1940 in the early days of World War II. Just a year before the United States entered the war, a small four-wheel drive prototype, the Willys Quad, was delivered to the U.S. Army. The Quad was the father of the MB-CJ series and Wrangler. Believe it or not, the Willys Jeep was the first mass-produced four-wheel drive car. Check that out. All right, and then we got 3 more here to check out in the center here. This is the M211 Deuce and a Half right there. Check that truck and trailer out. Huge. That is cool. I say cool a lot. I'm aware of it. And then next is the M25 Dragon Wagon, which this guy was a tank transporter. This guy is long. And then we got the Lark V, the Lark 5 right next to it. So let's start with the Lark 5 there. Lighter amphibious resupply cargo, 5 ton, is a aluminum-hulled amphibious cargo vehicle capable of transporting 5 tons. It was developed in the United States during the 1950s and is used in a variety of auxiliary roles to this day. In addition to the United States, Lark Vs have been used by military forces in Australia, Argentina, Portugal, Philippines, Singapore, and Iceland, believe it or not. And then we got the M25 tank transporter, the Dragon Wagon here, was a heavy tank transporter, tank recovery tractor that came in both armored and unarmored versions. What you see here is the unarmored configuration. M25 was the original destination for what became known as the M26 in the later part of World War II. The nickname Dragon Wagon was not because of the vehicle's purpose, but rather with the flames that would periodically burst forth from the truck's exhaust, believe it or not. Wow. And then we got the Deuce and a Half over here. The Deuce and a Half, the 2.5 ton 6x6 truck, was a standard class of medium duty trucks designed during the beginning of World War II for the U.S. Armed Forces. They were in service for over half a century, from 1940s into the 1990s. Believe it or not, the nickname Deuce and a Half, or just Deuce, was popularized post-World War II, most likely in the Vietnam War era. That is cool. So this is a little overall look at the whole area here with all these old military vehicles. So awesome. And since we're over here next to Ripley's Believe It or Not, we're not going inside today, but let's check out some of the sculptures they have outside here. Here we got the giant car parts robot. This sculpture was built from hundreds of used automobile parts. Unfortunately, we cannot turn it back into a car. That thing is huge, almost as tall as the building. The car parts robot, as I step down the curb there. Check out this building too. Looks like it's cracking, falling apart. So cool looking. And here we got the recycled superhero. This larger-than-life sculpture was made by a team of artists in Thailand entirely from scrap metal. This figure stands over 11 feet tall, and his head alone weighs over 300 pounds. Look at this guy. He's almost as tall as the building as well. Huge. Here we got some tire art mammoth. Believe it or not, this impressive mammoth was made in Thailand from recycled car tires. Its structure is supported by an inner frame of metal used to bolt hundreds of tire strips. Check that out. Look at this over here. This is cool. 3 amazing crochet lions. These things are huge. We'll walk around the other side here, I think is where the sign and the info on these guys are. But look at that. Crochet lions right here. It says, crochet lions. Shauna Richardson crocheted these giant lions from 36 miles of wool to celebrate the London 2012 Olympics. These are the largest single-handed crochet sculptures in the world, believe it or not. There's actually 3 of them in this huge trailer. So cool. Kind of hard to see with the reflection, but these guys are awesome. And here we have a car part werewolf. This guy was inspired by the popular Twilight saga. This werewolf is made of recycled car parts and weighs several hundred pounds. Look at that guy. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap up our video here today at the Ripley's Mobile Military Marvels, and a little look at some of the sculptures outside of Ripley's, believe it or not. Always a cool time. Always love coming down here to check out the military vehicles and the sculptures they got outside. The military vehicles are over there somewhere. They're over there somewhere. So always a great time. So if you guys would, hit that thumbs up button. And as always, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. It's free to do. And if you do feel like you want to help support our channel a little bit more, go ahead and hit that join button or the link in the description to our YouTube memberships. We have 6 different levels starting at only 99 cents a month, and they all come with early access to our videos, which means you'll get to see our videos before everybody else. So with that, thanks for clicking on the video and giving it a watch. Check out all our other videos, and if you guys are new to our channel, I am Zach, and we are see ya on the next one. I do apologize for all the wind noise. Bye-bye.